Good evening and welcome to our evening for all new applicants, parents and carers. My name's Amanda Down and I'm the principal of the two sixth form colleges of the Windsor Forest Colleges Group, Strode and Windsor College. I'm joined this evening online for this presentation by Fiona Carthy, our marketing head of, and by my vice principal Karen Griffiths, who will be answering some of your questions in the chat box. After the end of this presentation, there'll be an opportunity for you to join one of our many chat rooms and to pick up questions with some of our specialist members of staff, whether that's with curriculum, student services, or our additional learning support teams, who will also be available to answer your questions. I'm really delighted to say that we have just had two very, very successful welcome days at Strode and Windsor, and I really hope that your sons and daughters enjoyed their time with us. They were really vibrant and busy events, and it was amazingly fantastic to welcome our students back onto site. A bit of a shock, perhaps, in some respects. It's hard to remember that it was 2 years ago that we were running those face-to-face welcome events, but absolutely brilliant to have our new potential students back on site and enjoying the experience of being in the college and trying to see what it's like to be a student at our colleges for the day. Obviously, we pride ourselves on being specialists in the sixth form sector. We know what it is that students need in terms of support to be successful at post-16. We're incredibly proud of our successes and of the results that our students achieve, but we know that it's much more than that. As sixth form specialists, we're there to offer excellent teaching and learning, but that breadth of experience and opportunities that are so important to ensure that your students will be successful, whatever their chosen pathways will be. Our individually tailored programmes of study mean that students can take a purely A-level programme of study, or they can take a mix and match programme of study, combining BTECs with A-levels. It's a really great opportunity for students to do that. We pride ourselves on being ambitious for our students, setting high expectations and ensuring that we do our very best to support our students. Joining sixth form, joining college, going somewhere new can be really exciting, but also a little bit scary for students. And we absolutely appreciate and understand that, and we'll do everything that we can to ensure that students are supported in that transition. It's a new approach to study for our students. It's making that transition and that shift from being in school and GCSE to taking on level 3 study for most of our students. We like them to come with a positive mindset and attitude, purely deciding that they are going to engage with us from the outset. We know that actually commitment to your studies, making that effort, engaging with all those opportunities is going to help you to be successful. Part of that means attending, turning up on time, key employability skills that I know we would all recognise. Being prepared for study, making sure that you have done the work ahead of time, making sure that you have the right equipment with you, whatever that may be. And resilience and perseverance, not giving up. There will be challenges along the way. We know that. We know there will be times when students feel it's gonna give up. This is really, really difficult. But part of that transition is learning to be resilient, to learn from mistakes and to move forward. And we know that we can help our students to be successful. It is about developing greater independence for study. Students will go from having a full timetable to having a timetable that is balancing being in the classroom with independent study, work that students will be set to challenge them in preparation for lessons and consolidating learning afterwards. And that transition, learning how to manage your time, learning how to learn independently is a key skill that we will ensure our students gain. For every student, the study programme is approximately 10 hours of learning per subject. In addition, students will have a tutorial session and they can always add other aspects to their programme of study. But for all of our students, there will be added study plus and independent study time. The independent study time is very closely linked to preparation for learning in the classroom and consolidation. But Study Plus is a little bit different and something that will be coming into our curriculum from this September. This is going to be a complementary set of studies for our students, which will help them to develop the skills they need to be successful at level 3. It will be additional supportive materials. It will be consolidation. So, for example, it may be additional maths work for those students undertaking science-based subjects. This is very much aimed at helping students to bridge the gap between GCSE and A-level or BTEC level 3 study. But more of that will be explained to students when they join us in September. A key part of every curriculum basis at post-16 is the work placement scheme. And all of our students are expected to undertake a work placement. Most of our students will undertake this in June, but for some of our other students, this will occur at different points across the year. Again, students will gain more information about this at the start of the year, but it's really important that all students understand their commitment to this. For the majority of students, there is an expectation that they will try to find their own placement. We do have a very small work placement team who will help students to find the appropriate places to apply to, but this is part of the bridging the gap and moving on to the world of work or further study, apprenticeships, whatever that may be for our students. So our clear expectation for students is that they are finding their own work placement. If there are any parents, carers out there who feel that they could offer a work placement to any of our students, please do get in touch with us, with our student services team and our assistant principal for student services, Naomi Bailey. We would be delighted to hear from you and to work with you as we find these placements for our students. Part of our approach here at Strode and Windsor is to ensure that our students are positive participants in our communities. We very strongly feel that we are communities, not only within the bounds of our colleges, but also within the context, the community context that we exist and operate. So whether that is Egham for Strode or Windsor for Windsor College. And part of our role as sixth form providers is to make our students aware of the cultural capital that is around them and their responsibilities as citizens in the wider world. On the screens in front of you, I've just got a couple of dummy timetables for you to look at. So the one on the screen at the moment is for Strodes. You can see that the start of the college day is 8:45 and each lesson is an hour and a half. There are 2 15-minute breaks in the day and a lunch period of 45 minutes. Students' lessons will be scattered across the week and will include, as we've already indicated, Study Plus and independent learning sessions, as well as course studies. The college day for Strodes ends at 4 o'clock. Our college day at Windsor is slightly different, so starts at 9 o'clock and finishes at 4:15, but follows the same pattern with an hour and a half for each lesson and that extension of different aspects of where the day falls. And again, you can see on there that Study Plus is first thing on a Friday, whereas Strodes it's first thing on a Monday. When students join us and come to their induction session, they will be able to access their own timetables. They can access those via any mobile device, and we probably advise that they print one off so that you have got some clue about which lessons they should be in. We've already talked about the fact that post-16 can be a challenge. We know that there is that initial burst of enthusiasm and energy. And then at some point, the novelty of being in somewhere new, doing new subjects, starts to wear off. And we hit what we like to call the trough of sorrows or the wiggles of forced hope. But we're back to that idea of being resilient, of persevering with study and keeping going to reach the promised land. We would ask all of our parents and carers to help us in encouraging students to keep going, in meeting the challenges that they are set, completing their work on time, meeting deadlines, attending all of their lessons, and making sure that they are there and doing what is asked of them. Student support goes much farther than just what goes on within the curriculum. It is everything that wraps around it. And here at Strode and Windsor, We're very dedicated to making sure that our students have access to all of the support that they need, whether that's financial and welfare support, careers advice and guidance from our dedicated careers team, whether that is help with managing their attendance with our attendance officers, whether that's partaking in one of our many activities to enrich and develop their programmes of study. For those students coming in with half or more of their GCSEs at grade 7 or above, we have Aspire. It is a group that is dedicated to helping those students who are particularly interested in applying to Russell Group universities to maximise their opportunities, particularly those students who are looking to apply to Oxford, to Cambridge, or who are applying for medical degrees, veterinary medicine, dentistry. The groups operate at both Strode and Windsor, and we're delighted that part of our Aspire team at Windsor actually won the recent debate competition, beating Eton College as part of the Queen's Jubilee celebration. So very, very proud of that achievement and of the team of students who were part of that. We're also really proud to be a talented athlete scholarship scheme approved college in conjunction with St Mary's University. This is based at Strode College and recognises those students who are county standard or above. If you do have any questions about that, please pop them in the chat or get in touch with us again, and we will point you in the direction of the head department, Zoe O'Brien, who will be able to tell you more about that. On both colleges, we have dedicated learning support teams who work very, very closely with our students. They are there to support our students and to help them adjust whatever their particular learning needs may be. A key part of our curriculum offering is our tutorial and the core studies team. It's a central point of delivery for all students, regardless of level, regardless of programme of study, that ensures students get access to every aspect of the college life. And we've already talked about the fact that work placements are now a key part of every student's programme of study. Tutorial happens once a week, and we call it core studies, for the very reason that it is the core of every programme of study for our students. Within that, there will be one-to-one reviews where students will meet with their personal tutors to review their progress, to set targets, to discuss what can be done to help them move forward. It's a tracking of attendance and progress and a key point of contact for parents and carers who may be concerned about their students. They will highlight, flag up where study skills might be appropriate, where perhaps additional help from one of the progress coaches may also be appropriate. It's where we deliver key information about health, equality, diversity, safeguarding, online safety in particular, a key element and a key point of focus for all of our young people. In a world of social media dominance, it's really important that our young people understand the importance of being safe online and of what they are doing online and how that works for them. Unfortunately, your social media footprint stays with you forever, and many of our young people don't always appreciate that. So that's something that we very much focus on. We also, within this, focus on skills for democratic participation. It's a key part of where we promote our student parliaments and our student liaison committee, and of course, our student union executives. These are student-led committees who take a huge position within the college. They are a voice for the student body. They are the key part of our ambassador schemes and are really, really fantastic in promoting our college. But more than that, they help to organise events for the students and they promote their key points. Within the tutorial system, we also help our students with progression, whether that is progression to HE, to apprenticeships, to employment, or to further study within the college. And many of our students choose to stay with us for an additional year or an additional 2 years to pursue one of our level 4 or level 5 courses. Study support is something that all students can access. Based within the learning resource centres, these are quiet but social spaces with an opportunity for students to access computers, but also group work within these. Lots of online resources, but lots of hard copy resources for students to access as well. We have expert staff on hand and bookable appointments for students who, again, may be struggling with anything and everything from essay writing to time management to revision techniques. Our progress coaches are there to work with those students who have not yet achieved a grade 5 in either English or maths. At the start of the year, we will be identifying all of those students who fall into this category, and we will be offering them the chance to work with one of our progress coaches, either in a small group or in a one-to-one setting. Again, this is an opportunity for students to gain the additional skills to fill in some of those gaps that might be appearing. So this is a key opportunity for your students. Please encourage them to engage with us and with the support that is there on offer. Our ALS teams, or our additional learning support teams, are amazing at the work that they do. I know I'm biased, but they truly are. They do a fantastic job with the students who come in with additional learning needs, but are there to help all of our students, whether that's from screening at the beginning of students' courses, to supporting with exam access arrangements, to helping with assistive technology, mentoring our EHCP students, or providing additional study support, whether that's underpinning maths and literacy skills, or helping with decoding of work that may have been set within curriculum lessons. They also provide support for students with mental health and anxiety issues, and that will also be picked up by our wellbeing and safeguarding lead officers. We would ask that if your student has had access arrangements in school, that they bring any existing documentation in with them at the start of the academic year and pass those to the ALS teams so that we can potentially upload those onto the system from the existing arrangements that may have been in place at school. This is particularly important for any students who may have to resit English or Maths GCSE in November. The turnaround for that is very tight, so we would appreciate all the support that you can give us in that. We are facing access arrangements. I'm sure many of you have perhaps come across this already, but JCQ are altering the arrangements with regards to access arrangements. And this may mean that those students who potentially have had access arrangements at school may not necessarily get them with us. We will do everything that we can to ensure that students do get their access arrangements, and that we put into place everything that we possibly can to ensure that they are successful in their exams and have the appropriate support in place. One of the key things that I'm really proud about for Strode and Windsor is the progression guidance that we supply. Our careers team, our tutorial teams, and the curriculum teams, the amazing support that is on hand to support our students in making their judgments. Every year we host a HE fair and an alternative to HE evening. These are opportunities for students to engage with external providers to find out what opportunities are on offer to them beyond college. Please, when you find those key dates coming through to you in September, put them in your diaries and come along. They really are fantastic events and a great opportunity for students who are not entirely sure what they want to do, or even if they are sure what they want to do, to find out more information. All of our students are registered with Unifrog. It is a springboard for applying to university, for UCAS, but also for apprenticeships and work. It helps students to quantify their skills and to log what they are doing. So whether students are interested in art foundation degrees, applying to performing arts colleges, applying to university, for further study somewhere else, an apprenticeship, or simply looking to progress into the workplace, it's a great springboard for them. We provide support on results days, and we provide support throughout the year as we help students to think about their next steps, pulling together their CVs, thinking about interview techniques, thinking about their personal statements if they are applying to university. And of course, for those students who are applying to Oxford, to Cambridge, for medicine, for veterinary, it's making sure that they are prepared for the bespoke interviews and exams, tests that they will need to do, and those early entries. Really important that we get those in place. There are a huge range of opportunities on offer to students at Strode and Windsor, and we encourage all of our students to make the most of every opportunity that's on board there for them. I've already mentioned the winning debate team from Windsor who've done a great job, but whether it is the Science Olympiads, whether it is the Maths Challenge students, the amazing performing arts students across Strode and Windsor who every year amaze me with the brilliant performances they put on, whether it's our award-winning art teams. We were really proud the last couple of weeks. We had one of our art students, her work appeared on the front of FE Weekly. So a great accolade for that student. Whether it's participating in events with visiting speakers, whether it is partaking in one of our many sports teams, huge a range of opportunities for students to get involved with and participate with across the colleges. We've talked a little bit about work placements, but again, I just wanted to reiterate, this is a key part of every student's programme of study. All students on an A level or a mixed study programme will undertake this in the week beginning the 5th of June, so a key date for your diaries. For students on vocational programmes, the timings of their work placements will vary, but those dates will be published for students at the start of the academic year. Students are asked to find their own placements as far as possible, but we do offer support through our careers and work placement team. And as I've already said, if you feel that you might be able to offer us a placement, please do get in touch. We would love to hear from you. These are really important parts of students' programmes of study because they are preparing them for the next stage of their journey. Even those students who are going on to university or to further study will eventually end up in the workplace. And the idea of a work placement is to help students think very clearly about what it is that they may want to do, but also to refine the skills that we all know are needed for successful progression into employment. The development of those skills is something that all of our students will undertake throughout their programme of study, whether that's within curriculum, whether that's within the core study sessions, their broader engagement with the wider part of the college, or indeed as part of their work placement. We really believe that helping to make our students successful is working successfully with our parents and carers. And we really hope that we are going to form a great partnership with you. We provide half-termly updates by email, which give you more information, but we also send out monthly mailers to our parents and our students and carers with key information and updates about what's happening at the college. Half-termly reviews are sent home to students, which provide updates on progress of students for parents and carers. This is looking at their current working grade, their attitude to learning grade, and targets to help them progress further. Our Student Parent Review Day will take place in January. Again, we will provide further details of this on our Meet the Tutor evening in September, but a key date for your diary. This is an invitation to meet if issues of concern are emerging, and of course we will be in contact with you should any issues emerge. Initially, we will copy you into emails that are sent to students, but it will often be a face-to-face meeting if major concerns occur. We really hope that's not going to be the case, but we really believe that working with parents and carers helps our students to stay on track and to be successful as possible. At the end of September, we will be hosting a Meet the Tutor evening. This is an opportunity for you to meet the tutor team, so the core studies team who run that session that runs through the middle of every programme of study. They are intrinsic to every student's successful journey at Strode and Windsor because they have the holistic overview of what your student is achieving, their attendance, and whether there are any bumps emerging in the road, but also their successes. They will be there to praise and to know the successes that those students are undertaking. We will keep in touch with you through the Parents Portal and our website, and obviously we will be providing more information as we go through the year on the key aspects of what's going on at the college. What happens now is that hopefully we are moving to the point where students gain the results they are expecting in August. Please don't worry if they don't. We will be running some support sessions, some workshops on the day the results come out, and we will also talk to the students at their enrolment interviews. We will be starting to invite students in to enrolment interviews in the next couple of weeks, so please do watch your emails carefully, and please ask your students to watch their emails carefully. Once you have had your enrolment interview, you will receive information about our induction day, which takes place on Monday, the 5th of September. This is a really key event for all of our students. It's their first formal day with us, and it's the point at which we enrol them properly onto all of our systems, so they officially become a student. They gain their ID badges, receive their timetables, and obviously get ready to start with classes on the 6th of September, on Tuesday the 6th of September. So some key dates there for your diaries. That's the point at which the supportive transition starts to take place. There will be bespoke induction programmes in all subject classes, which will run over the first half term. These are designed to help students make that transition, as we said, from GCSE to level 3 study, and to ensure that our students are successful. We understand that students may change their mind about their courses, and there's an opportunity to discuss that at their enrolment interview, but also a number of opportunities during the first half term for students who may take a lesson and then go, that's maybe not the right thing for me, to take a course change. So there are lots of opportunities for students to come and have those conversations and to think about the course changes and the right programme of study for them. We need students to be comfortable with their programme of study in order to ensure that they are to be fully engaged with us and therefore ultimately successful. Our Meet the Tutor evening is on the 29th of September, another key date for your diary. So please, if you can, we would love to see you at those events. As I said, it's an opportunity to meet our tutorial team and to talk to your student's tutor. If you have any additional concerns, you can contact the college via the personal tutor or indeed subject staff. We really encourage our parents to be in touch with us, to email staff if you have any questions or concerns, and to get in touch with us if there is anything at all that is worrying you. As I said, we really believe that in order to support our students, it comes from a really good relationship with our parents and carers. We would ask you to do that. I'm going to pause there, Fiona, and ask whether there are any questions. But before I do that, I'm going to answer one that always comes up, which is about dress code. We don't have a formal dress code here at Strode and Windsor College, but what we do ask is for our students to dress in a respectful manner that is suitable for being in a college environment. That means nothing that is going to show too much flesh, nothing that may cause offence or upset somebody else. So although we don't have a formal dress code, we do ask our students to be respectful and mindful in what they are choosing to wear.
Thank you, Amanda. That was great. Lots and lots of brilliant information in there. Questions, we have absolutely loads of them, and Karen is whizzing away answering them. Okay. And I know, you know, we've got a big audience tonight, and so lots of people have got lots of questions, and some have said they found it hard to listen and read the chat. So before I pose the questions, just to explain to everybody that we will be posting, this is being recorded, so we will be sending you a link to this recording so that you can go back over it if there's anything you missed, so you don't need to worry. And we will also summarize the questions and answers in that email. But I'm just going to pick out a few ones that Karen has already answered, but if we just start with Aspire, maybe the stretch and challenge, if you could just, I know you've already covered it, but I think just repeating.
No. So at each of the sixth form colleges, we run a group which is called Aspire. It is aimed at helping those students who are looking to progress onto the very top Russell Group universities and to Oxford and Cambridge. For those students who are considering medicine, dentistry or veterinary medicine, they require particular help and support with their applications, their early applications, and there are also linked to them particular entry examinations and interviews. So this is a group that is aimed at really supporting our very, very high flyers to progress onto those really, really top universities.
Great, thank you. And we have a good track record, don't we, of people
We do. We have
successfully.
Absolutely, we have an excellent track record, and we have a dedicated member of staff at each college who is responsible for the Aspire group. So yes, they work very closely together. That sounds awful, but we do have a group at each college. Yes,
that's great. Thank you. And with that in mind, can somebody study for A levels?
Students who are coming to us with half or more of their GCSEs or grade 7 or above, we will consider a programme for A levels, but we would always ask students and parents carers to think really carefully about why you are choosing for A levels. Universities only ever make their offers based on 3 good A levels, and we are always cautious to say to students, you are much better to have 3 A's or 3 A stars than you are to have an A and 3 B's. We offer what's called the extended project qualification, and we also offer the Gold Arts Award. These are additional qualifications that sit alongside A levels and level 3 BTECs that students can undertake. They carry UCAS points with them, and many universities look on them very, very favourably, because what they demonstrate is a student's ability to engage with a range of skills that universities are really interested in. So research, higher order thinking, presentation skills, they are effectively mini dissertations. So are really, really important and really key for those students who are looking to progress on and want to demonstrate something beyond their ordinary programme of study.
Yeah, thank you. And what about when will enrolment actually start?
So enrolment starts on the, sorry, I'm going to do a bit of count up. Enrolment starts on the day after the GCSE results come out. So I believe that's the 26th of August. I'm kind of losing track of my days at the moment, but I think that's Friday, the 26th of August. Enrolment will start, and then we will be enrolling after the bank holiday. Yeah.
And in terms of letting people know when they're supposed to come in, etc., that admissions will deal with all of that?
That will be admissions. So as I said, admissions will be starting to email in the next couple of weeks. Please do check your emails, and please do ask your students to check their emails as well. They will be receiving notification of the date and the time that they're invited in for an interview. If you have a problem with that, please get in touch with our admissions department. They are the key source there for organising those interviews and those appointments. And there will be a couple of online forms that we'll be asking students to complete before they join us, to do with additional learning support and wellbeing.
Great, thank you. Somebody's commented about the fact that the students that are joining this year have missed quite a lot of on-site learning due to the pandemic. Is there any additional support that we're giving, or any concessions around the entry grades?
So we would say that we feel this year, great, but we will obviously acknowledge that year 10 was disrupted for this year group, but they've had a good year 11 with exams. We do have in place the progress coaches who, as I said, will be offering support for students who don't have a grade 5 or above in English and Maths GCSE. So they are there to help with bridging the gaps between level 2, so GCSE, and level 3 study. We will also be using the 40+ hours, so the study plus hours, to help with some of that additionality and upskilling our students with those gaps. We will always take each student on their own merits, but we have entry criteria for a reason, which is that we know that if students don't achieve a certain grade at GCSE, they are really going to struggle with level 3 study. And A levels and level 3 BTECs, I'm afraid, are hard. They are challenging. Level 3 BTECs obviously now include the externally assessed units. And whilst we will look at each individual student, we also have to consider that we're not necessarily helping students by letting them onto courses when they don't meet those entry requirements. And actually, our entry requirements are very generous compared to many other colleges and schools.
That's great, thank you. A few people concerned about being on holiday. when enrolment starts and also start of term. So what's our guidance around
So
that?
that is as far as possible. We need our students to be in. If you are going to be away, as I said, that is contacting the admissions department. We will do some late enrolments into that following week, but as far as possible, we are really trying to encourage people to come in for their enrolment interview. But if you do have a problem, as I said, it's contacting our admissions department, please.
Thank you. What about the enrolment interview? How will that take place?
So the enrolment interview will take place face-to-face at either Strode or Windsor, and you will go through the system. Basically, we do an onboarding system where we will check your results. So please remember to bring your certificates, documents with you, even if it's a screenshot on your phone. Please bring it with you. We will take your photos, students' photos for their IDs. We will check personal details. They then go through and there is a discussion with one of our team who will go through the process of talking through a student's subject choices, checking that they've qualified for those courses, making sure it works on the timetable, and then processing that through the system. So it's a conversation with a member of our staff, with a member of our team, who will talk them through guidance and giving them advice and guidance on their courses and their programme of study.
Great, thank you. Another question is around, do Russell Group universities accept BTECs?
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Not all of them, I'm going to be honest, not all of them. And as with most of these things, it's not all universities and not all courses within universities. So I'm afraid it isn't a blanket response. It's a little bit, yeah, it varies from university to university and from course to course. But yes, they do accept BTECs.
Yeah, great, thank you. There's lots of questions around travel and transport to the college. I know that our student services team are on hand after this presentation. So I think perhaps if you've got specific queries about your bus route, you could join the live chat after and speak directly to our student services team.
Absolutely.
And also there is information on the website, but there's some interest in the potential bus route from Maidenhead to Windsor and Strode, and I think that's still very much dependent upon popularity.
I believe so, Fiona. I believe so. I mean, I think we are going to be handing out more information at enrolment. We are still looking at potential transport, but obviously it is dependent upon interest and upon numbers. Both Strodes and Windsor are fairly accessible in terms of public transport. There are really good bus routes to Strodes and train routes to Strodes, 2 trains coming into Windsor, and several bus routes as well. So both are really accessible and easy to get to. But yes, please, if you've got any particular individual questions, probably best to give to our student support team, student services team.
That's great, thank you. You mentioned about the dress code, so that's good. I think you've covered that off very well.
It comes up every year.
What about perhaps a recap on the extracurricular activities, and is there any crossover between the campuses or the colleges?
There is a little bit. We're looking to expand that, but obviously that's dependent upon transport between the sites and our minibuses. So yes, we are looking to do that. So both of our colleges have got really strong student unions, and many of our clubs and societies are student-led. So they vary from year to year, because what we like to do is to respond to the students and what the students are interested in. It also reflects what takes place within the colleges. So film clubs, debating societies, we've had chess clubs before. Obviously at Strodes we have a sports college. We've got lots of sports teams and lots of sports going on there, and we are hoping to get some of our Windsor students over to Strodes for that. We currently have Duke of Edinburgh running at Strodes, and again we're looking to try and get that started up at Windsor as well.
That's great. There's so many opportunities for the students, aren't there?
Absolutely,
You've got all those amazing sports teams and the sports facilities at Strodes, which is really impressive. Could you explain a little bit more about the TAS accreditation, just again to repeat that?
Yes, so we are with St Mary's University. We are what's called a talented athlete scholarship scheme representative, which means that we provide support for any student who is effectively county standard or above in a sport. Can be any sport. So we've had gymnasts, we've had runners, we've currently got a world championship BMX biker with us. We've had boxers, we've had golfers, you name it. I think we've probably had one of everything. But the scheme is essentially to support students with balancing their academic studies with their sporting commitments. So making sure that their training programs are working alongside academic commitments. And obviously taking into account that many of these students will be competing in national and, for many of these students, international competitions. So our BMX biker, I think, has over the last couple of weeks has had a couple of international competitions, which is amazing. But obviously there is a knock-on effect in balancing the commitment with academic studies as well. So we have a dedicated member of staff who supports those students, looks at their programs, looks at their timings, meets with them on a regular basis to provide just that additional level of support for them and encouragement so that we know what's going on with them. And we work very closely with their own coaching teams as well to ensure that we're providing that support in college as well.
Yeah, that's fantastic. It's a real great opportunity, isn't it, to be able
Absolutely.
to combine the two.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we've you know, some of our really successful students have been TAS students and really high flyers academically. So immensely proud of them, although some of the things they do just I kind of find myself thinking, particularly the BMX biker, I'm in awe. Yes.
Exactly. Some questions around results, just maybe to confirm how people are expected to bring their results with them.
Okay, so it depends on how you receive them from your school. So most people will either collect a hard copy or they will have it emailed to them so they'll be able to access it via their phones. That's fine. If you have it emailed to you and you've got an email copy with you, that's absolutely fine to bring that in.
Yeah, great. Okay, but we don't have access to it. The
we
student
don't.
Has to bring it with them.
Students do need to bring them in. What I would say is a plea that if anybody has students who have sat exams in year 10, is to remember to bring those certificates or those proof of those qualifications in as well. I know there are a couple of schools out there who do things like GCSE statistics in year 10, or maybe do BTEC qualifications in year 10. So please, if you know that your student has already got something in the bag from year 10, please do remember to bring those in as well, because often they get forgotten.
Yeah, and I'm assuming our communications over the summer will remind people about that.
We will be sending out a number of emails to students. One, it will be the information when they're invited in for their enrolment interview, but we'll also do a follow-up reminder as well of what students need to bring with them.
Yeah, that's fantastic. What about things like preparing for starting college? Do we have like summer work or anything that people can?
Okay, so those students who came to the welcome days on Monday and Tuesday will have already had flagged up to them the introductory work, summer work that is on the website. There will be a follow-up email from the admissions team with more information about that for those students who weren't able to join us at the beginning of the week, but all students can access that. That's available on our websites if you go to the Strodes and Windsor pages, and it is under Year 11 work. So we would encourage all students to undertake that work. It will help, it really will, with the transition. Some of it is reading, some of it is podcasts to listen to, places to visit, things to read, things to do, things to get thinking about, and some of it is more practical work, particularly important for those students going on to study maths or languages, because they are skills that you need to keep going. They are sequential, they build on each other. So please make sure that you are encouraging your students to look on the website under the Year 11 work to gain that summer work. And if you can't find it, please get in touch with the admissions department, who will point you in the right direction.
Also, we'll put links to it in our follow-up email tomorrow. So if you've registered for this, we'll send you the direct links to those pages. So that will be helpful.
Thank you.
Just to let everybody know that the live chat is now available on the website. So if you go, I'll put a link in the chat box here to the college website. So if you go onto the college website and click on the little chat box, our team, our learning support team and student services team are on hand, and you can have a private conversation with them, a one-to-one, so you don't have to post everything publicly. So I'm just popping that link in now, and feel free just to pop over there if you've got some specific questions that you want to ask that team. I'm just having a quick whiz through the rest of the questions to see if there's anything else. One of the questions that has come up quite a lot is, what if you change your mind about a subject?
That's absolutely fine. As I said, if students after Welcome Day have changed their minds about the subjects they're interested in, we would encourage them to get in touch with the admissions department now to put in a request for a course change. But students can also discuss that at their enrolment interview. And we absolutely understand that for many students, they may get their GCSE results and change their mind because they'll have done better, or indeed not so well at the subjects that they were planning to do. So some of those changes might be ones that have to be made, and some of them might be ones that students want to make on the basis of their GCSE results. So there's an opportunity now and at the enrolment interview. But as I said, during the first half term, we recognise that students might start a course and not necessarily find that it's the right thing for them or is really what they're expecting it to be. We do understand that, and there are a couple of opportunities during that first half term for students to make a change. And again, we call it a course change, and we have a course change process that students can go through. So they can request a course change in the first 6 weeks.
Yeah, that's great. And a question that's just come in is around digital devices in college. So using your own laptops and taking notes electronically. Yes. Is that encouraged?
Yeah, so students can bring their own devices into college. We'll have a small number as well that we can loan out to those students who may need them. And obviously we have a wide range of devices that are used within college anyway, but students are very welcome to bring their own devices in. As part of the induction on the 5th of September, students will be given information about how to access the Wi-Fi and about how to use their own devices when they're in college. So yes, absolutely fine.
Great, and we've got a great IT support team as well who work with students.
Yeah, and we have a number of students who bring in, whether it's an iPad or whether it's a laptop. I have to say, we're not terribly keen on students taking notes on their mobile phones, so we do like a bit of old-fashioned paper and pen at times, but laptops and iPads, absolutely, yeah. I understand that some students find that much easier.
That's great. And if people need specialist equipment for their course, you know, for example, a certain type of camera, or and I know that we have a lot of equipment anyway that the students use on the creative courses too.
We do.
How will they be told about those?
So we do, as you said, we have a lot of equipment that students can borrow from the colleges themselves, but students will be given information about that at the start of their courses, so as part of the induction. Those students who came to the Welcome Day probably also got some information about that equipment there, and obviously when we've been giving interviews to students, we generally talk about what will be needed and the expectations, but that will be part of the induction, particularly within those first couple of weeks of students starting at college. So there will be no immediate requirement or immediate need for students to have specialist equipment with them. For our art students, they can purchase packs from us, but again, information about that will be provided to students when they start.
Great, thank you. It might be worth us just talking a little bit about the facilities, because I know you've got some amazing things like those special video cameras that you've got that are like industry standard, and green screens.
Yeah, we have got amazing facilities, and hugely proud of what we've got. I mean, if I start with Windsor, obviously the fashion and interior design window display, I'm sure you've all noticed the windows that come and run along the outside of the Windsor building, they are part of our facility. So those windows are created and made by our students. So every time they change, every new display that goes up in there, they are our students. So we have the practice boards within the college. As Fiona has said, we've got a green screen room. We've got, I think they're called black magic cameras. I'm really sorry, Fiona.
It. Yeah, no, you're right.
That's not a media specialist. They're called black magic cameras, which are industry standard. We've obviously got the specialist facilities for sport and our performing arts team. So we've got our lovely blacked out studios at Strode and at Windsor, with the nicely sprung floors for the dance students. It's one of my favourite places. We've got specialist facilities for our students in the art department with clay and pottery and some amazing stuff that's been made by the students. I was fascinated at Windsor on Tuesday. They were the students were making whistles, that's sort of like little domed things that were actual whistles. I know, it was amazing, quite gobsmacking. From the 3D design room at Strode and the 3D printer that is there, so lots of specialist equipment. And again, we've got the kiln and the facilities for making pottery at Strode and the printing presses. The Strode guys were making tiles and then clay tiles, which they were then using to create prints at Strode's on Monday, so that was amazing as well. Our science laboratories are obviously state-of-the-art and equipped up, and again, I think it was great on Monday to see so many very, very large classes with chemistry and biology trying out the experiments that were taking place, so that was really great. And obviously all the IT facilities that are in place to support our students, and of course mustn't forget the hub and the cafe, so the social spaces for our students. We're currently refurbishing our garden at Windsor, so please bear with us if it looks a little bit undone yet. I promise you it will be finished for September, but we've been refurbishing that, so we've got some big parasol umbrellas coming in to provide some protected outside space for our students.
Fantastic. So I think we're going to wrap up now, and I think Karen is just finishing answering some of the last of the questions as we have our team ready on the live chat. I think a couple of people have had some problems getting onto it, so if you're happy, I can explain. So you just go to the college homepage at www.windsor-forest.ac.uk, and just, if you don't see it straight away, just scroll down the page and then a little blue circle will pop up with the chat icon to say click on the click here to talk to our team. So I can see that lots of people have now left this meeting now, and
yes, I know the numbers are going down.
I know that they've hopped over to the live chat. So there's an opportunity for you to ask any more questions. The other thing just to quickly mention is that we've got our open days next week. So there's on the 5th of July is Windsor, and the 7th of July is Strode from 4:30 to 7:30. I have put links on the chat and we will put them in the follow-up email tomorrow. But if you haven't yet been, you can still come along and talk to us next week and find out have any other questions.
Absolutely.
Anything else that you would like to wrap up with, Amanda?
I don't think so, Fiona, other than to say thank you very much for joining us this evening. I hope you found it informative. If you do have any other questions, as Fiona said, please do join us on the live chats. If you would like another opportunity to come and visit the colleges and to talk to staff, then please do come and join us next week. It's Tuesday at Windsor and Thursday at Strode's. If you have any questions with regards to enrolment, please get in touch with our admissions department, or if your student is thinking about a course change, please get in touch with our admissions department. But thank you very much for joining us this evening. I look forward to meeting you and your students in the new academic year at our next set of events. But thank you very much.
It's great. And we've had lots of thanks for a really informative event from the people that have joined us this evening. So that's great. So I'm just going to put a note to say that we're now going to end the presentation. And if you want to hop over to the live chat, that's great. If not, we're around next week if you want to come and join us.
Thanks, Fiona.